Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we are back again with another war, and this one is crazy tense as well. If last war New Nation had a perfect donut across 3 battle groups, we faced 4 Loki who were first at the time, came on successful, and that placed us in second position. However, that let GT40 sneak back up to the first. So this war is place number 2 versus the current top place in GT40. And it's again one of those max boost, max mastery changes, even though it's not free anymore. Because actually I did do some real big mastery shenanigans in this video. And I actually ended up taking a brand new champion to rank 3 because of this war. And I'll explain that in a moment. But yes, so New Nation against GT40, both top 2 alliances. I'm going to be starting on path 4, where initially I was meant to take that Airwalker with Mole Man. However, we swapped Mole Man out with Havoc, because I also have path 9 in section 2, and there we have that Shock and Bleed Hazard Shift One-Eyed Open Dr. Doom. Now, I do know that Mole Man can do that fight. I've seen videos of him doing that fight. But I also know for a fact that I have died to that fight in the previous season. And it's just, part of it's psychological, part of it I realize how tricky that fight can be, because it's likely going to be quite a long fight with Mole Man, which requires quite delicate timing, on point level 1 evades and things like that. So I didn't really want to do that fight with Mole Man if it could be helped. So when I got it assigned to me, we started talking with my officer, and I ended up taking Havoc to rank 3 yesterday because of that fight, because I thought that Havoc would be better and quicker option, and that is for most part how I view Alliance War fights. Unless it's completely risk-free fight, getting the fight done quicker most of the time is the thing that, really kind of matters, because you have much less room for error. So we're going to get to that fight in a second, but yes, I did take up a champion to rank 3 because of this war largely, but it's Havoc, and Havoc has been one of those champions that I have been kind of thinking about taking up for a really long time, because I do think that a lot of people are absolutely asleep on him. In this community, he's much better than a lot of people realize. And well, on the bright side, all of those people who really wanted a Havoc video, well, it looks like now a Havoc video is much more likely. So my other champions are going to be CGR and White Magneto, and CGR is going to be putting in truckload of work. So instead of Mole Man here for the first fight, we're going to be going in with CGR. Now, CGR isn't obviously then maybe necessarily the perfect solution. Mole Man would have done this fight significantly better, but I am boosting big for this entire thing. I am putting on the Cosmic Boost as well, and I actually changed my mastery setup like 3 times for this war specifically as well. Starting with this one, I set up kind of a specific mastery setup to give CGR as much damage as possible without running Liquid Courage Double Edge, just, because this node also has heal block on. So it's Airwalker. The tricky thing about this fight is the more debuffs you have, the lower your ability accuracy. And the lower your ability accuracy, obviously, the harder it is to parry and all that other stuff. So we start the fights in Alliance War. You typically want a very simple CGR rotation. Parry heavy, do a full combo finishing with light, full combo finishing with medium. That's your 5 charges. Here, our first level 2 didn't quite finish it off, but obviously it's CGR, it still hits like a truck, and we're gonna see some crazy numbers in this war. So we can actually just rewind this a bit as well, just the moments of the level 2s. So we're gonna go for our first level 2 here in a second, and he goes from 86% to 28%. We obviously have more than enough power here back already, and then I just intercept and we can see like 30k crits and whatnot. All sorts of good stuff. So that was it for this first fight. The second fight here is this Doom. For this Doom fight, I'm not going to show it here because I didn't take screenshots of it. They actually made a very, very unique mastery setup. I had 0 points in cruelty, 0 points in precision. I did have max points in courage, max points in greater strength. And then on top of that, I put in max points in inequity. I activated resonate. I put in max points in coagulate and suture, and I also put in a couple of points in that mutant mastery that lets mutants shrug off bleed debuffs quicker, half a second per level on it. I think I had 3 points in it. So that was, if I do get a bleed debuff on me, it would expire 1.5 seconds quicker because of that muted Genesis mastery. Then I would also have Suture, which lets bleeds expire another 20 or 15% quicker. We had Coagulate that reduces the bleed damage by 30%. So that was just to kind of protect me from the hazard shift bleeds if I do get kind of hit by them. But then on top of that, I obviously put on the mutant boost, I put on the indestructible boost, and this is going to be a good fight now with Havoc. The thing that is tricky with Havoc against Dr. Doom is the fact that if I do have a shock active on me, he can Doom Slap me. And he will Doom Slap me. That's why the Indestructible 3 boost is there. We're going to see that here I'm going to miss a parry in a second. And that's going to happen. Now, I wanted to pause the fight because I wanted to show you this as well. There's actually one advice for people who place Doom on this node, maybe specifically. But additionally, if you're attacking this node, I specifically didn't put points in precision and cruelty, so there was virtually no chance I would crit against Dr. Doom. And that was important because I was planning to drop my heavy attack with one-eyed open reflecting damage to me, just so I can place that feedback back on Doom, and so it starts doing damage. I really did not want my heavy attack to crit or do a lot of damage. That's why, again, none of those masteries were active there. I just activated Greater Strength, which increases my detonation damage and plasma damage. But again, I do not want to crit, but I will hit Dr. Doom while he's stunned despite the one-eyed open. And that was kind of like a calculated thing. Now, the advice for if you are placing Dr. Doom here is probably that you might not even want to have Limber active. Because you could see I parried him again and I just started hitting him. I take a bit of damage back and that's fine. And now here at this point, obviously, you know, the feedback is starting to put in work. I'm just kind of waiting out the bleed phase, which is fine. Unfortunately, I do mess up their Wade, but it's all good. And now I want to hit Dr. Doom. I want to get a few more shocks on me. I kind of want to slow play it a bit. I wanted to bait out his level 1. He didn't want to throw it. So I used my level 2 just to get a bit of distance. I'm going to eat all of that level 2 in the block, which obviously, again, detonates the plasmas. And now, whilst the bleeds are there, ideally, if I can, I just want to wait it out a bit. There's a plasma detonation. And then I am going to drop my level 1, which is going to, again, help me a bit. Now, again, I hit him with one-eyed open. I completely ignored the one-eyed open pretty much. Just so I can get the shocks, just so I can get the openings, just so I don't have to dance around too much. And obviously, it did work out quite well. This fight didn't go perfect, but at no point during this fight, I felt like it's not under control. So Havoc did phenomenally here. Initially, we actually planned to use Havoc against this fight as well, but then I noticed that it has that Nerves of Steel node, which would give Terax armor ups. And you can still do it with Havoc. You would just need to hit Terax's block to get rid of armor buffs. But I just figured out I'm going to go with CGR, because CGR is still bleed immune. So I just have the shock phase that I do need to avoid. And I was going to use CGR for rest of the fights too, so I could set up my masteries already here like I normally would for CGR, put on my cosmic boosts. I'm running out of invulns, but that's fine. I do have plenty of the compensation things to claim, so we're all good there, to be honest. And I have been using plenty of those invul boosts here for sure. But it's, again, better safe to be sorry. It's fight for the very, very, very top position in the world. So here what I'm doing is I'm just kind of waiting for him to get out of that shock phase. And, you know, that's not the biggest deal. Then I noticed that it's not an armor up buff, it's just an armor up effect. And I could have used Havoc, but that's fine. You know, too late at this point. So I drop my heavy attack. I'm going to go in for a combo with light finisher, and that already gave me kind of pretty much too much power. So we just dropped that without doing a combo, without medium finish. I await his level 2. Then I just do a couple of hits to get rid of his indestructibilities, and I'm going to use a level 3, and the fight's going to be over. It's not the most perfect fight, and truth to be told, I'm not overly confident with CGR, as in, like, I can use CGR well enough for what I need to use him in quests and stuff like that, but he's definitely not among the top 10 champions I'm the most confident playing with. I know he's a great champion. I use him kind of plenty in questing scenarios. He's definitely not one of those champs I kind of feel like super confident that I know in and out and stuff like that, you know. Not like Slayer of Gods that tries CGR for every fight to see if it works and stuff like that. But it does look like my battle group leaders like to assign him for me, so I better get used to him and quick. Because these fights actually kind of made me brick my pants a bit. I'm going to be doing this super scroll on this weird mini boss that I actually had not done before since the node change. And then I'm going to have Annihilus on the next mini boss as well. And these fights were scary as crap because of the global. Obviously, Super Scroll is one of the more annoying defenders right now. But there is a way how you can deal with Super Scroll in most scenarios that a lot of people don't really consider. And it's going to be fully kind of on display here. Now, this fight, again, is not going to go perfect according to the plan everywhere. Oh, this is a weird bug where I just can't tap on the node, so I had to back out and go back in. But the thing with Super Scroll is obviously that every time you hit him, pretty much, he can gain an armor up until 5. And that would make the fight significantly harder because of unstoppable armor. So that is the problem with Super Skull, right? He's unstoppable armor defender, and every time you hit him, he has that little timer, and once those timers kind of like load up, the next thing, whether he hits you and gets a fury buff, or you hit him and he gets an armor buff. And every time he gets an armor buff, he can go unstoppable and stun immune and all that other bad things. And he's a fairly finicky fight to begin with. Then on top of that, we have falters involved in this thing where we can miss. And he has his own falter plus his special attacks, special 2s, you know, tricky to evade. And in this meta, it is one of the kind of more annoying defenders in majority of the cases. But the plan here is, you guys can see it right now, that I'm just going to parry initially. A lot. And because I'm parrying, he's gaining fury buffs instead of armor ups. And once he gets to 5 fury buffs, then I can start doing whatever I need doing. So here we can see I drop a heavy attack, wonderful. I'm going to go in for a full combo with light finisher. Unfortunately, here I am going to get a falter, so I'm going to need to wait for that to expire. But we can see that he can't really get his armor ups anymore. Well, now he can because they expired. But I go for my level 2 here, and this was kind of a mistake here. I could have gotten caught here because he could have went unblockable. I should have went for a combo with medium or actually gotten hit on purpose before that. But as soon as I got the Fate Seal active, and we can see that there is plenty of armor breaks and everything else. Everything works fine. But the kind of trick against Super Skull, especially initially, is that you just want to parry him a bunch, so he builds up to 5 Furies. And then for that entire cycle, he will not be able to gain armor ups until, you know, the fight progresses further and he resets it. And that is kind of like a very good and nice effective way to nuke him down for most part on most of the nodes, where you just let him hit your block or parry a bunch, to let him build up to 5 Furies, because he can't get any more buffs after that, and that's it. Then he's locked. Then you can hit him, and he's not going to be gaining his armor ups. Now, that fight didn't go perfect again. I could have gotten hit there in a couple of places, but that's why I did have the Indestructible 3 boost, and with my power back boost at any given point there, the fight was in control, because even if he would land a full combo or a special on me, I would get another judgment, and then at that point, you know, I could launch a special attack, get plenty of power back, and everything would go fine. So I wasn't too worried past that point. Now, this Annihilus fight actually is going to end up being a bit scarier than normal, to be honest. Now, this Annihilus fight, he's going to hit hard through block, because it has Conflictor, so he's going to start with, you know, almost a full bar of power, pretty much, because of that armor break that CGR places. And then my point is, again, just drop a heavy attack, quickly going for a combo finishing with light, quickly going for a combo finishing with medium. But I noticed that I can't finish my combo because he was nearly at 3 bars of power. And look at that damage. Look at that damage from one special 2 in block. But it's fine. I am dropping my own special 2. I'm at 48% here. And this time around, you know, he didn't have his rod active, so he didn't do nearly as much damage anymore. And I go for my second level 2 and everything's fine. Additional note for this fight is, again, that White Magneto's pre-fight is quite important here. Because if you do have that passive stun, even if he has his Obliterate strike, you can still stun him. So if you have Magneto House of X pre-fight, you can always safely parry Annihilus. It's just a little piece of advice in case you guys did not know that. It is definitely by far like a way to make this fight a lot easier. And easier it did. Again, we're going to see some good numbers by the end. I'm probably going to use some of these for a thumbnail, maybe. But yeah, so we're going to go for a level 2 here, which is going to be quite pretty looking. Unfortunately, not too many crits there, but this second level 2 is going to take him pretty much immediately from the 45% to 46k crit, 20-some k crit, and the 60k crit. Beautiful. Beautiful. So that was it for my war. I definitely did have some fights that were well out of my comfort zone. I had to jiggle my masteries, and it was definitely stressful again, because every death counts in these wars, especially when you're trying to fight for the first spot. And as a battle group, we did phenomenally. This war is actually still technically not over, even though the result is quite obvious here. As a battle group, we got our second donut in a row, which we're super happy. So BG3 didn't die again. Obviously, we didn't die against for Loki as an alliance completely. And this war, BG3 still maintained the clean sweep, clean streak, 0 death here, wonderful. However, as an alliance, unfortunately, we just had a couple of kind of very unfortunate mishaps and very ill-timed, minute mistakes that ended up in death with Kitty. And, you know, it happens. It is a bit of a shame that we go from, you know, perfect war in his alliance to dropping 5, which is a lot. But overall, I'm still very happy how New Nation's playing right now. I definitely know that we're capable of having really, really good competitive wars. And GT40 currently is at 3 deaths, New Nation is at 5, and, you know, it's quite obvious that we are going to lose this war. Unfortunately, can't win them all, but I'm still super happy with how our battle group played. Obviously, a huge shout out to White Mummy, because he again made a hell of a plan that scared me pantsless. I was genuinely worried about the Doom fight. I was genuinely worried about the Super Skrull fight. But, you know, we worked it out, and we swapped out the Mole for Havoc for Dr. Doom, so that worked out quite well. So, and I also kind of went full in with mastery changes, and it did work out in the end, but it was definitely, again, one of those super stressful wars. Huge shout out to GT40, obviously. Phenomenally great alliance, war alliance. They are playing absolutely amazingly. It's always a great war against them, always very close, always very tight. And, you know, obviously I want them to lose by the end of the season, so we have a chance to catch up. But at the same time, you know, polite thing is to wish them the best. But ultimately, we still have 3 wars left, and we're still in the running for top 3. So we're going to try and finish somewhere in top 3. It is unfortunate that we did lose this one. But again, I do feel that New Nation is in a better place as an alliance this season than we were the last season. And the job there is just to improve and grow on that, and do even better and do our best to make sure these silly mistakes don't happen. Because, you know, I had a horrible start to the season as well. So it definitely can happen. It's just, you know, trying your best to make sure it doesn't. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this war video. It was absolutely enjoyable war to be a part of. Congratulations to the GT40. And I'm going to catch you guys soon. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about